Paddy Pimblett is no stranger to call-outs, and after receiving a $1 million sparring match offer from celebrity boxer Jake Paul, the Baddy has invited the problem child to the UFC Athletic Center along with instructions to bring all the cash in a bag. The fight was supposed to go down on the 5th of December, but let's see if it can happen before January. Stay tuned for more on Paddy and Jake Paul. First up, an interesting proposition. YouTube sensation turned professional boxer Jake Paul is known for his notorious call-outs. Believe it or not, the 25-year-old has called out the likes of Mike Tyson, Tyson Fury, and Floyd Mayweather in the past. There's no denying the kid is a really good boxer, but whether he's a legitimate one is super questionable. He's fought some really big names like Anderson Silva, Tyrone Woodley, and Ben Askren, but at the same time, his resume is all over the place with a fight against pro basketballer Nate Robinson and YouTuber Ann Esan Gibb. His most recent target is UFC lightweight sensation Paddy Pimblett, who's set to fight Jared Gordon on December 10th at the T-Mobile Arena. Jake has offered the Liverpudlian a massive $1 million payout if he's able to beat him in a sparring match. So on one hand, Paddy gets an easy $1 million if he wins, but what happens if Jake wins? Well, he gets another big name in his United Fighters Association and gets the Baddy to help him sign the top fighters from the UK. It's an interesting proposition, to say the least, and we have nothing against the celebrity boxer, but isn't it time he actually fought a real boxer? He also tried to lure the Brit by saying he deserves to be paid out in the millions, but since the UFC doesn't do that, he's willing to take the hit for a chance at the mixed martial artist. Jake even offered to fly him out to Puerto Rico on the 5th of January, but that's not how things work at the UFC. Next, the counter.
Come to the PI next week and bring $1 million in your bag, and I will spar with you.
This all started when the Liverpudlian accused Jake of fixing his fights, but after hearing about the $1 million offer, the Baddy was ready to cash in by giving him a shot. And it's not even like there's any hate between the two athletes, but it's just that the problem child tends to get a bit carried away. There's no denying he's a really good boxer capable of some serious damage, but guys like Pimblett have been doing this their entire lives. When Jake was filming YouTube videos, Paddy was probably beating someone up inside the cage. Lad, I've been doing this a lot longer than you, mate. I've got more heart and grit and determination than you. Credit to Pimblett for not throwing any shade or calling things out for what they are. Along with calling him a good boxer, the Brit thinks Jake could actually beat someone like Tommy Fury, but him? No way. Paddy thinks he'll run through the celebrity boxer any day of the week, but things aren't going to be on his terms. Since Pimblett is under a UFC contract, he can't just get up and fight anyone he wants. If the 25-year-old really wants this fight, he'll have to come all the way down to the UFC Performance Institute and prove what he's got. Oh, and he'll also have to bring the $1 million in a bag. Let's see what Jake has to say about that. Moving on, biting more than he can chew. The problem child has a habit of trying to schedule fights that make no sense at all. Like a fight against Tyson Fury? Yeah, good luck with that. Tyson is almost 7 feet tall, and if Jake ever shared the ring with him, we're afraid he'd have to go home in an ambulance. Same with the Mike Tyson call-out. We're not saying Mike couldn't beat him up today if he wanted to, but look at the age difference. Tyson is literally in his mid-50s, while Jake is still just 25 years old. He's in his prime, while Mike chills on podcasts and avoids fighting at all costs. It just makes no sense why he'd call these gentlemen out. But Paddy the Baddy? Now that's something we can get behind. We said the same thing when Silva was fighting Jake, but we always knew the celebrity boxer could cause an upset, and that's exactly what he did. But again, Silva is touching 50, so he's twice his age. It's about time someone like Paddy, who happens to almost be the same age as him, teaches him a lesson to stop messing with legit fighters. We're not really sure if this fight will ever materialize though. Both of them could always spar, but how Uncle Dana reacts to that is unknown. Jake has taken shots at Dana multiple times in the past and has even released a whole diss track about him. We don't think he'd want any of his fighters near someone like Paul. Following up, a showdown in Puerto Rico. Since Paddy is in for a thrilling match against the exciting Jared Gordon on December 10th, Jake will have to wait if he's serious about a sparring match against the 27-year-old. But it seems like both gentlemen want the fight on their terms, as Jake has hit Paddy with another offer saying he'll fly him out to Puerto Rico on the 5th of January. January, and then both teams can get on with a podcast. Paddy is yet to respond to this, but he did say something about wanting the fight to go down after his UFC matchup so he can put on some weight again. He's near 170 right now, and he'll have to cut even more to make weight for his fight against Jared. And since he likes loading up on his favorite meals in between fights, he's probably on a caloric deficit right now as well. And Jake is naturally a much bigger guy who fights around 190 or 200, and if the two were to square off in their current condition, Jake would have a clear advantage. Pimblett wants to get done with his official fight first before he entertains a side quest worth $1 million. And like we said before, since Jake is much bigger right now, the baddie probably wants to put on some weight before sharing the octagon with him. It's still unknown whether the sparring match will ever happen because while it seems like there's not much on the line, there's actually a lot on the line. Up next, too big of a risk. If we were to ask you who you'd rather have as a backup in a street fight, we're pretty sure you'd say Paddy. Jake might be an excellent boxer, but his skills are nothing compared to the Liverpudlian. But that still doesn't mean the problem child can't drop him, since all it takes is just one punch to shut off the body. What happens if Jake manages to slip in a devastating blow and catch Paddy putting him to sleep? Is he still going to be the lightweight sensation at the UFC he is today? Or is he going to be the lightweight sensation who lost a sparring match to Jake Paul? It's not a really good defeat to have on your record, even if it's just a sparring match. Look at it this way, if the duo was to fight inside the octagon with MMA rules, you'd probably be ready to bet $1 million on the baddie to win the fight. But since this is boxing we're talking about, it's possible the celebrity boxer might actually end up surprising the baddie. He has a habit of doing that now after putting away the likes of Anderson Silva and Tyrone Woodley. The Brit probably has all his focus on his next appearance inside the cage right now, so we don't think he's thinking too much about Jake. But after he's gotten yet another W on December 10th, it'll be interesting to see if he's still up for their sparring match. Last but not least, not liked by the higher-ups. It's obviously no surprise that Jake Paul isn't exactly liked by the higher-ups at the UFC. Dana has a lot of problems with him, and we don't blame him. Who wouldn't have problems with a kid who made a diss track about you? But that's not what we're trying to hint at here. We're talking about the probability of this fight happening in real terms. Dana White is the boss at UFC. He decides what goes on and who fights who. Nothing happens without his approval. And if Paddy wants to fight Jake, then by all means go ahead. But please don't be foolish enough to do it in the UFC Performance Institute, because White sure won't be happy about Jake being inside that building. It might even lead to other problems, so we reckon the people around the baddie will probably try to talk him out of it. But then again, who doesn't want an easy $1 million? That's it from our side, folks. So, what do you think? Will we ever see a sparring match between Jake Paul and Paddy Pimblett? Let us know in the comments below. Remember, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more exciting videos in the future. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.